to the ABC Podcast.
Always be cool.
The show where your hosts, DC and BK, showcase your local business and real estate pros going gangbusters in leadership, community involvement, and just being cool.
Here are your hosts, serial entrepreneurs, mortgage experts at Summit Lending, and partners in crime, Darren Copeland and Bobby Kerr.
All right, everybody, it's the Always Be Cool podcast, hanging out with your buddies, Bobby Kerr, Darren Copeland.
What's up, everyone?
In the Summit Lending Studios. We are really, really excited today. We've got a phenomenal athlete, an inspiration to millions over the course of her life, Miss Jackie Stiles.
Right, exactly. So here we go. Grew up in Claflin, Kansas, and won 14 individual state titles in track and field. WBCA All-American in basketball in high school. Went on to play at Southwest Missouri State from 1997 to 2001. First Division I women's player to score more than 1,000 points in a season. Won the Wade Trophy Award, honoring the best women's basketball player in Division I. She scored 3,393 points in her career, which set the record until 2017. Get this, Bob. She dropped 41 points on Duke in 2001 to upset them in the Sweet 16.
Oh, yeah.
First round pick, fourth overall in the 2001 WNBA draft by the Portland Fire. WNBA Rookie of the Year and All-Star Team member in 2001. All-around awesome lady, Jackie Stiles. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
No, thank you for that nice introduction. You're making me blush.
Oh, my gosh. Well, you know what? I had to pare this down, Jackie, because the research that we were doing, I could have took up about 30 minutes with all the accolades that you've had in your career. So kudos to you on that. Well,
we were talking a little bit before the show, Jackie, and it's not every day. We have had some guests where they've had movies made of their life, that's really cool that we've had the opportunity to speak with people like that.
Right.
But we've got another one today. You've recently had a movie, kind of like a documentary, come out about your life and your basketball career. What's it like to be a movie star?
Well, never in my wildest dreams when I started playing basketball when I was, just a little girl did I ever think it would end with, them wanting to do a movie about my life. But if you have a movie done about your life, it means you've been surrounded by some incredible people that made something like that possible. And I share that with so many. But when Brent Huff, the director, just contacted me out of the blue and said he wanted to do it, I was like, for real, you want to do it about my life? And then I'm like, okay, wait, is this guy legit? But then after our first interview, he basically knew more about me than I knew about me. So I knew, more likely my story was in good hands. And then it premiered March 1st because that was the day I broke the record at Missouri State. The all-time leading scoring record, so they wanted to do it, premiere it then, and that's when I saw it for the first time, and it definitely exceeded my expectations. Brent did just a phenomenal job on it.
So Jackie, what were the feelings going into that? Because I know you had mentioned before we went on air here that you didn't have a chance to preview this movie. So obviously you've been in some huge situations in your career, playing in front of thousands of people, high pressure, championship games, things like that. So what were the nerves like going in there and not having this see that footage yet?
I mean, it's hard to put in words because I was so nervous. I mean, it's probably number one on the list of times like I felt, just because I'm, so out of my element, I mean, you're walking on a red carpet and I'm like, what? It's just, it was wild. And I will tell you, I don't know what it is, but I've now watched it, I believe 6 times because of different, I went to a few film festivals and a few different premieres now. And I literally have cried every single time. I mean, and I'm like, okay, amazing. This is my life and I've lived it, but it's just amazing how I put it together. And then just to see all the people that helped me live out my basketball dreams, on the big screen. It hits my heart every single time I watch it. And I'm just so grateful.
Wow. Well, I've heard you say in other interviews that what doesn't matter what avenue we're talking about, but I've heard you say that if you can impact one person from your story, one person, essentially from your movie, then you feel accomplished. You feel like you've really done something strong and meaningful. So Who is the ideal person that's watching your life story on a screen? Who is that ideal person that you're motivating, or that essentially ipso facto you're improving or influencing their life?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely, I truly believe our greatest legacy is every human life we can impact for the better, and it was well worth my time and putting my story out there if it helped just one person. But, I just think my story is relatable to people because no one has ever saw me on a street and said, you must be a professional basketball player. Like, I've never gotten that. Like,
right.
I pretty much blend in with my campers. They have to try to pick me out of, the camp picture. But so it's just that, I'm from a really small town of 600 people. So I feel like if people see my story and they see that I could, reach the highest level a basketball player could reach, the WNBA, being 5'8", being from a small town, that, dreams do truly come true if you're willing to work and you believe in yourself, and not only believing in yourself when the times are good, but when you face adversity. And also, I mean, it's also more than that. We all have our stories and we all have different challenges that we have to overcome. And, if it just helps one person, no matter what age, overcome some adversity or challenge that they're facing, then, like I said, it's well worth my time.
Well, isn't that kind of a testament for you, Jackie? Because, as we're looking into this, I mean, just like you said, you're just normal person, 5'8", you're not like 6'3", 6'4", but doesn't that come back to a testament of your work ethic, even as a kid growing up in high school, that you had to outwork the other people because, here you are 5'8", you had to be faster. And, we'll talk about your routine of the 1,000 shots here in a little bit, but didn't that start at a very young age, knowing that you had to outwork the other girls out there?
Yes, definitely. I've always kind of been in that underdog role from, a very young age, but I was very fortunate that I told my second grade teacher I was going to play professional basketball one day, and that was before the WNBA even existed. So I just had that, So I just had that vision that basketball was what I wanted to be good at, and then I was very fortunate to have a dad that's a basketball coach, and I really feel like that's where the love started for me. And I get asked all the time, if you had to pick one thing, what is the biggest key to your success? And I'll say, hands down, work ethic. And if you're going to accomplish anything great, there's no shortcuts. I mean, you've got to put in the work. And I've seen it in other areas. I love bragging on my family. I always tell people I'm the underachiever of the family, but I'm the oldest of four. I now have two younger siblings that are surgeons. And my brother that was next in line, he had a difficult time following me just because, I did 4 sports, and, the high schoolers would chant like Jackie when he was at the free throw line. And, he just time. So all of a sudden he says, I want to be a doctor. And we're kind of like, that's out of left field. Long story short, he doesn't get in the first time he tries to get into med school. He has to take a year off. They were forced at that time. He takes an MCAT class every weekend for a year. I don't know how he did it. I took the ACT one time and I was like, that's enough. I don't want to take that test again, But he had that drive. He wanted to reach his dream of being a doctor, and he got in the next time, and then he graduated with the top honor from KU Med. He got the award, who would you most like to have as your doctor? And, there again, I mean, he just was willing to work, outwork most people, and it worked. So I just think that you have to have that work ethic to accomplish anything really great.
Absolutely. And we love to talk about mentors on the show, Jackie. So do you think that work ethic, you mentioned your dad was a coach. Do you think that came from your parents at a very young age? Did they have that work ethic and just basically instilled that into their children?
Definitely. My dad was always like, the first at school. I mean, he still gets up at 5 a.m, and is at school early. And my mom would work 2 and 3 jobs so I could have these different opportunities to develop, across the country, going to different camps and clinics. So yes, I definitely learned that from them. And then, I also think I had a sister pass away when I was 12 years old, my youngest sister. I think to really accomplish great things, you have to have a reason that's bigger than yourself. And I had vowed at that moment to, honor her with every accomplishment that I ever achieved. And so I think that also allowed me to, spend longer hours than most because I had that reason that was, bigger than myself. So, I definitely believe it started with my parents and watching them work so hard for everything that they got.
Well, I mean, you just mentioned a couple of things of what your why was, right? We all have why we motivate ourselves and why we want to accomplish certain things. And obviously when you were young, the passing of your younger sister, that was part of your why, like you said. And we've got another phrase that's, adversity is opportunity. And adversity, whenever we're felt and dealt with, you're faced and dealt with adversity, that's our greatest opportunity to go out and do something great and succeed. And so I think it sounds like that was a big part of your growing up and really what pushed you to be the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, adversity is hard, but, I say, adversity is a university, take notes. I love that quote, but
adversity is university.
Adversity is a university, take notes, and, every tough time or every challenge I've ever faced, that I've always tried to take the attitude that it happened for me and not to me. And if you will just keep moving forward, staying positive. And I've also found that when you're going through a really difficult time, if you can turn your attention to others, helping others, that soon you're lifted. You think you're doing it for somebody else, you're helping somebody else, but actually it really does help you. Because sometimes when we're in those tough times, we can start dwelling and focusing on what we're going through. And if you can kind of just selflessly turn it on to how can I help, somebody else right now, you just soon are lifted a lot of times out of that difficult time. But you just got to turn it into a positive. And you learn so much about yourself and what you're capable of when you go through those difficult times.
It's so great to hear that, Jackie, because as we've interviewed and been doing this podcast and talking to other professional athletes like yourself, yes, you still have to have the physical talent and going out there and doing it, but so much is in between the ears, right? And what you just described with the attitude and overcoming adversity, and I hope it's okay, but we're totally going to swipe that adversity as a university thing.
Take notes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get the T-shirt made, Mom.
Get the T-shirt made. I know.
Let's go.
Actually, we could talk about a lot of T-shirts between the three of us because I heard that you have a T-shirt that says needs moderation.
Yeah,
is that right?
I have not made it, but I definitely need it because I literally cannot do anything in moderation.
Well, we like that because we have T-shirts that read "Never Relax."
Okay.
So it's kind of the same thing. So I think we should maybe start like a T-shirt club.
Yeah.
What's another T-shirt
let's do
club?
It.
Yeah, exactly. But no, coming back to having that mental fortitude of that attitude, the positivity, the things that happen to you, if they're not exactly the way you wanted them to go, looking at those as an opportunity, not being a victim. So that is just, again, another testament of, where you are and where you came to in your career. And that's why you end up having a movie about yourself, right?
Yeah, that doesn't happen to everybody. No. So maybe while we're talking about adversity is opportunity, right? Or adversity is the university, right? You were dealt with a blow at a young age when you broke your hand, right? You had some opportunity at a young age. You break your shooting hand, I think maybe when you were a sophomore in high school. Is that right? You're a right-handed player. That right there would make a lot of kids just stop playing. Well, I broke my hand. I can't play basketball this year. I mean, I broke my nose in 8th grade.
Right.
And I had to wear this stupid cast on my face.
Did you have that plastic thing?
I had a cast, yes.
Yeah.
It covered my face. But the doctor said, "Oh, you can't play basketball.
Yeah,
if you get hit, you're going to shatter your face again."
Right.
So I just stopped playing basketball. Like, what am I going to do? Okay, well, you break your shooting hand. What do you do? Instead of me telling the story, why don't you tell the story of how you took that adversity and turned it into opportunity?
Yeah, so it was my sophomore year in high school, 3rd game of the season, and I go up for a reverse layup and I got undercut and I break my right wrist. And actually, my coach would not let me watch that film for a long time because you can hear the bone snap on the video.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Anyway, so I stood out for 4 weeks with a hard cast past my elbow, and in those 4 weeks, I taught myself how to play left-handed, all left-handed, and I convinced the doctor to let me play the second 4 weeks with a soft cast, still past my elbow, so I couldn't straighten my arm. I played 4 weeks left-handed, a little frustrating, playing that way, but I was glad I did it. And then I got the cast off right before playoffs, and my shot was a little bit inconsistent just because of my muscle atrophy, and right. I'm in the semis of the state tournament, and we win this game, we'll play for a state championship, and that was my biggest goal in high school. Is I wanted to win a state championship in basketball, and I still to this day remember what I was from the field because I had one of my worst performances ever. I was 4 out of 21 shots, and we only lost by a couple points, and I just was embarrassed. I felt like I let my team down, and it would have been so easy for me to say, you know what, I'm not going to invest this much time into basketball. It's not worth it. But I said, you know what, I want to be even better than before the injury. And that's when I vowed to make 1,000 shots every single day. And I did that until my freshman year in college. And my college coach was like, you try to make 1,000 shots and keep up with, a college travel schedule and the academics, you won't have any legs left. So I developed more of a quality over quantity workout. But if it wasn't for that injury and developing that kind of work ethic, I don't believe I'd be where I am today. So,
well, absolutely. Well, and the thing is, Jackie, if you would have set out the rest of that season in the high school, pretty good chance you guys would have made it to the high school championship game anyway, right? So, that was a good thing. So tell us a little bit. I was watching a YouTube video earlier.
Before you go on, I want to make sure the listeners heard correctly. Not take 1,000 shots a day. Make 1,000 shots a day. There's a big difference, folks.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that
would be like
glossed over.
That would be us being on the court for 24 hours in a row.
Yeah, would that take you like 4 or 5 hours a day of practice?
Yeah, well, it would have helped so much if I would have had the gun. And for your listeners that might not be aware of what that is, but it's basically this huge net that literally rebounds for you and passes balls back to you. Where I had the old school toss back that's just a net. And, it'll slowly bounce the ball back. And so if I, basically did it with the toss back, it took 4 hours. If I could bribe one of my younger siblings to rebound for me, it would almost cut it in half. But one of my favorite clips from the movie, and I hadn't seen a lot of this footage because, I played when there was no cell phones. It's VHS, so the footage had to be like, transformed to, several different, upgrades. But anyway, my sister is rebounding and she's got these like sandals on, these baggy shorts, and she just looks so annoyed that she is having to rebound for me while I make 1,000 shots. But yeah, it would have shortened it a lot if I would have had the gun. But yeah, I always tell my players that I coach now, make a certain amount, not shoot, because you could be shooting shots but not making any, and you'll learn real quickly how to become accurate if you give yourself a goal of how many shots you're going to make every day.
That's good. That's a metaphor for anything.
That's impressive.
Don't just say I'm going to save money. Yeah. Don't just say I'm going to work hard. You've got to be specific. That's a SMART goal.
It's got to be measurable.
It's got to be measurable. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, sorry to cut you off.
So tell the listeners, because there's quite a few people who enjoy sports, maybe have played sports in junior high, high school basketball, whatever. But tell them, because I was watching a YouTube video earlier, but just tell them real quick, like how you progressed on your shots, because I think you started from like the baseline to the wing to the elbow. Kind of walk them through how your routine went on that.
Yeah, that one of the biggest questions I get about that routine was, did I count 1 to 1,000? And no, I didn't. I had a certain, amount that I would make from every spot and a certain routine from each spot. So basically I did 7 spots on the floor: baseline, wing, elbow, top of the key, elbow, wing, baseline. And I would start at the baseline. I would have 50 that I would make from 15 feet range. And then I'd scoot back, make 50 from 3. Then I would make 50 free throws in between and then go to the next spot, same routine. And so that's how, it ended up being 700 jump shots and 300 free throws. So,
wow. Yeah, that's amazing. So did you take that along in your career when you were playing with the Portland Fire? Did any of your teammates in the WNBA, did they start doing that with you at all?
Well, no, it was hard to get anyone to want to do that.
Right. Hey guys, spend an extra 3 hours with me on the court. Let's practice.
Need moderation, but no, anyway, I had a routine that was just a more high intensity game speed workout that I would do. It was about 45 minutes that I did every single day in college. Now, every now and then I'd revert back to the 1,000 makes just to get rhythm jumpers, but the workout eventually created was more on the move through like college and pros, just because I didn't have the time. My body also couldn't take, making the 1,000 shots a day with the WNBA schedule of sometimes playing 4 games in a week and flying commercially right after 9/11. So you can imagine like security and what time we were having to get at the airport. And, so I just had to make it more quality over quantity at that point.
That's cool. That's great. Let's, again, we want to be respectful of your time today, and we appreciate you being on the show. Let's talk about our time in Springfield for a little bit. That's where I think most people are going to know you. That's where, quite honestly, I mean, you're a legend, and you're told that all the time, I'm sure. So, for instance,
we texted
a lot of our friends that live in or are from Southern Missouri and Branson and Springfield, and we were just there last week, so we spent some time there recently. But every single person that we text, all we did was text the preview of the graphic of the show saying, we're talking with Jackie Stiles, and every response comes back like
going crazy.
Holy blank. She's a legend. This is amazing. I graduated college with her. I went to her game where she broke the all-time record. I swear, these are all real messages. I could read them to you right now.
Yeah, and a lot of it was, how did you two get Jackie on your show? Let's be honest.
Is she doing a charity thing? Is that what she's doing? Right. One guy, but legit. We have people that have really followed you your entire career in life. So let's spend a little time talking about your time in Springfield. Obviously, you're back there now, and right, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Yep.
I just moved back a little over a year ago.
Very cool. So let's talk about what it was like to accomplish the great feats that you accomplished, and also talk a little bit about the human element on looking back on it now. Like, does that even feel real? So maybe follow up with that part and dive right in and just tell us about the experience.
Yeah, it almost feels like a separate life. I'm like, really, that was me. I did those things. But what made it so special looking back is the people. The way Springfield and the surrounding community supported us. I mean, we would sell out most every single game. And to have the fans appreciate so much what we were doing, it drove you to be better because you wanted to make them proud. And, I tell people, playing at Missouri State for 4 years might have ruined the rest of my life because, I mean, it was just such a special experience. And then to accomplish a dream that most people thought was impossible, to make a Final Four at a mid-major program, I believe. I'm dating myself, but that was 21 years ago now. And there hasn't been another mid-major on the women's side make it to the Final Four. So, it's really difficult. And I did not realize what we were competing against until I just got done coaching at Oklahoma as an assistant. And I'd never been at the Power 5 level. I mean, I played at Missouri State. I coached at LMU and Missouri State before taking the job at Oklahoma. And I was like, wow. I mean, the way they traveled, the resources, a strength coach just for their program, individualized workouts. I mean, it was crazy. So it just even put it in perspective of how special, what we accomplished was. We just had a reunion with that Final Four team. This was last year. We all got together in Asheville, North Carolina in one house. And you think, we haven't been together since that year. And we got along like we hadn't missed a beat. I mean, we had the best time, and that just showed me what made our team so special is we truly played for each other. And, I love this quote, if you want to be good, make yourself better. But if you want to be great, make those around you better. And that was really just the attitude of our team. Everybody bought into their roles and was so unselfish.
That is so cool. So like when you guys were sitting around at that house, reliving the glory days, did the stories kind of get bigger? Did they get embellished a little bit?
Of course, yes. We always had to go through what we call a hell week. And, I'm sure the stories were much exaggerated of what we had to go through. But, yeah, if you didn't make your certain incentives coming in the preseason, our coaches put us through this thing called Hell Week. So, I mean, they changed it now to Remedial Week, but it was very difficult, just to tell you that.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show, I mean, that what amazing win that was against Duke when you knocked them out. And I believe, wasn't that the same year, maybe the regular season, but didn't you drop a 56-point spot like on Evansville that year?
Yeah, I believe I did that year.
Jackie,
it was.
that's a lot of points. Some teams don't score 56 points. That's amazing.
Well, I want to tell you that I did pass the ball. I didn't shoot it every time down the court. So
That's right. Always the team player there.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about a time, time of your life and a period of time that, I mean, it was sheer domination. You were dominating your competitors. For gosh sakes, you have a statue. I don't have a statue. Do you know the things that you have to accomplish? I mean, there are lots of guys. There are guys that come into the studio we've had that have statues.
Right.
Let me list the names: George Brett, Jackie Stiles.
That's it.
Are you serious? Wow.
I mean, that's incredible.
That's a whole different level.
So you're a rock star, okay? I mean, let's just call it what it is. You're a rock star walking around campus in the streets of Springfield. You're pushing to break the all-time NCAA scoring record, which stood for 16 years.
16 years, yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm assuming somebody's brought this up to you, but I was doing some math today. I'm not a math guy, but
Me either.
the gal who is now in first place all-time scorer. I forget her name.
Kelsey Plum?
Yes, Kelsey Plum.
She probably had more games played.
She played 10 more games.
Okay.
And so I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm looking at your point average. You were averaging something like 26 or something points a game in college. You add that total up, your average with the 10 games that you played fewer than her.
And she still has
and
it.
And you got her beat. Yep. You got the record. So I thought that was pretty cool that you played some fewer games, and on average you would have.
Jackie, in our mind, you still have the record. We're just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
You guys, I will come on your show anytime. So special. I'm going to walk with a bounce in my step the rest of the week.
Heck yeah. And when you come up to Kansas City, can you bring some Brahms ice cream? That's like our go-to.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to ask you. You should have told me you were coming up this way. I could have, told you all the great spots to hit up.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to be going back down there not too long. We've got some referral partners that we work with that need some help with some podcast stuff. So I think we're going to be going back down and teaching a class. So maybe we can connect with you and just meet you in person. And
that'd be awesome.
Hi.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Absolutely.
So again, rock star, statue. Just talk a little bit more about what it was like to be that person, because you're a very, very humble person. You're very kind. You're very sweet. And that is not a combination that happens a lot, especially with people who end up playing professional sports, where they keep that humility and that grace. So kind of what was it like? Was it difficult to make sure that you tuned all the noise out to make sure you stayed focused?
Yeah, I definitely, I forget what point it was in my college career, but I had read this awful kind of thing that a fan had written on something like a message board. I can't even remember what it was, but thank goodness we didn't have social media. I can't imagine athletes these days on how they handle that. But, this fan had wrote, you could reach me at overbite.com. And from that point on, I said, you know what? I'm not reading anything. I'm not reading a newspaper. I'm not watching an article. I just tuned it all out. And I think that really helped, keep me focused on what our team was trying to accomplish. And I remember my roommate, it was crazy, just like leading up to when people thought I was going to break this record. I told her no radio, no TV, anything, just to try to, escape from it. And I remember we went to eat, I think it was like a fast food, Taco Bell or Burger King or something like that. And we couldn't even eat. Like we just got mobbed when, this was like a couple days leading up before that record. And I'll never forget. So it was the game at Wichita State. And then, I could have maybe broke the record then, but I would have had to score something crazy, like 50 or 60 points. But after the game, all of a sudden I have this professional bodyguard. And I'm like, is this real life? I have a bodyguard right now? And so from the rest of the point on, I had a bodyguard just because it was getting difficult to warm up because fans were coming down, from the stadium to, get my autograph and do things like that. So, but yeah, it was a wild time. But I look back, which is nothing but fond memories. And it was just truly because of the people. I couldn't accomplish half these things or any of those things if it wasn't for the incredible coaches, teammates, our fans. I mean, I share with them all the success I had and the statue. There's no way I'd have a statue if I didn't have amazing people.
Right. So Jackie, just so you know, like if Bobby and I had statues, we would drive there every day and like eat lunch by it and just hang out.
Lunch.
I'll tell you what was odd when I was at Missouri State. I literally would have to, when I was coaching there for 6 years, I would have to walk by it, to go to work every day.
Okay.
It was real weird. I mean, it was just
right.
It was odd.
I mean, it's weird for me to walk by my office with my nameplate. I mean, let alone a statue. Oh my gosh.
That's
well,
fantastic.
again, we're getting near our time here, but we're talking about adversity is a university. Take notes. Over the last couple of years, you've been going through some personal adversity with some health issues, and again, nothing is slowing down Jackie Stiles. So maybe discuss a little bit of what you're going through, and also how you've been overcoming it, and the importance of physical health and what that does for mental health and staying positive and always trudging through the difficult times.
Yeah, in 2018, I got treated for a rare cancer. It's called ocular melanoma, and it's a 6 in a million cancer. And, I wouldn't wish cancer on anyone, but it has truly made me better. I go every 6 months, and my cancer has a high rate of metastasis, so it metastasizes 50% of the time. So, every 6 months I go and get full body scans, and fortunately, so far, they've been clear. Now, recently I've lost some vision in my left eye, and I'm having to do these injections every 6 weeks. But what it showed me, I was just blown away by the outpour of support when I was diagnosed. I mean, and, I can remember I had to do 6 days of radiation treatment, isolated, and my mom could come in for 30 minutes every day, and she would read to me these cards. Like, people sent thousands of cards to me, and I was so sick, during it, and that she would read those to me, and it would just lift me so much, and it got me through such a hard time, from just letters people wrote, text messages, financial support, you name it. People came to my aid, and I said, you know what, I can't repay this, but I am vowed to pay it forward. And so every single day I try to do one small act of kindness. And this month I just had a newsletter come out. My website's JackieStiles.com, but I challenge everybody to do one act of kindness every day and journal it, write it down, and you'll just be amazed by what you can do for people with just that little small text message, or taking somebody out to lunch, or a phone call, how that can lift somebody. So, and also it's maybe more present. Instead of looking so far in the future, none of us are promised tomorrow. So, I just want to, give everything I have each day and give my very best. And, did I live? Did I love? Did I make a difference? So it's taught me a lot going through something like that.
That's just straight up class act, Jackie. Yeah, yes. We're learning something, so thank you.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. You want to talk a little bit about what you're doing today, maybe with Next Gen, and just promote yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so I moved back to Springfield a little over a year ago, got out of college coaching, and I now do basketball camps and clinics, and then I do also some basketball lessons. I do some speaking here and there as well. And I'm also starting a Next Gen Fitness. It's a franchise, and it's a personal training studio. So that'll be open December 1st in Springfield. So I'm excited about that because, the second half of my life, it's more about significance. I know my first half of my career, I was very selfishly focused, and I got up every single day thinking about how I could be the best basketball player I could become. So many people sacrificed so I could live out my basketball dreams. Now it's how can I align my gifts to help the most amount of people? And one thing that has been a huge part of my life is fitness. I mean, people ask me, did I work out today? I said, well, did you eat? Did you breathe? I mean, it's like that important for me. And so to share my love for fitness and how it's impacted me in a positive way with others in the community. And then also it's been really rewarding. I hadn't planned to really start this basketball business, but I just needed some income until my gym was open. And literally it just took off. And I know that it's been so special, just the comments that I've got from parents on how I've impacted, their son or their daughter. And it's something that I'm going to have to definitely continue, because it's just been really rewarding for me to help other young players be the best that they can be. And so if you're interested in any of my stuff, it's at JackieStiles.com. You can find that. And you can also find the movie. I want to promote it for the director, Brent. I mean, he worked so hard on that movie, and I hope people will see his hard work and his talent through the movie.
And where can people go to watch the movie?
So you can go, it's on Amazon, Apple TV, Vimeo, Google Play. I mean, just about every platform, streaming platform. It's not on Netflix, but it is on Amazon Prime and Apple TV for sure, Perfect. Some of the big ones. But right. JackieStiles.com has it.
And just to be clear, Jackie, so the name of the movie is the Jackie Stiles Story. What is that so people can find it?
The Jackie Stiles Story. And at one point, if anything is possible, I think that's on the back cover. But if you just Google Jackie Stiles Story or go to my website, JackieStiles.com, it'll pop right up and you'll find it. So
that's
awesome.
Amazing. That's
amazing. Before we end this, I want to leave a Jackie Stiles original quote that hopefully
here we go.
Hopefully motivates some folks, because we are talking about the power of physical fitness and what it does for oneself and one's mind. But quote, "You're only one workout away from a good mood."
Yes.
That's powerful stuff there.
I have a little thing on my desk here. Let me show it to you guys. One second.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. So it's true. Okay.
There you go.
Yes.
No.
I love it. Well,
but you guys.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, you guys are phenomenal. What you're doing, and I know you have impacted my life for the better, and I know you're doing it for so many others. So keep up the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Oh no,
it's
we really appreciate that. You've been amazing to have on, Jackie, and thank you for the stories and just the tips on the mental fortitude and the positive outlook and the things that you've overcome. I know our listeners are going to absolutely love it, and we will most definitely let you know the next time we're down in Springfield, because we would love to hang with you for a few minutes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. I would enjoy that for sure.
Very good. Guys, be sure to check out the movie and the documentary on Jackie Stiles, the Jackie Stiles Story, on Amazon Prime or Apple TV, on Google Play, all kinds of good stuff. Make sure to check out, if you're in Southern Missouri, her new fitness center, Next Gen Fitness, opening up December 1st, 2022. This has been an awesome experience. Thank you so much, Jackie. You are a phenomenal person. And everyone take away, adversity is a university. Take notes. That's right. All right, guys. This has been the Always Be Cool podcast with Bobby Kerr and Darren Copeland.
Thanks, everyone.
Jackie Stiles at the Summit Lending Studios. Have a great day, everybody.
If you are hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode. And for that, Darren and Bobby thank you from the bottom of their hearts.
They hope you enjoyed this new episode. And if you did, please leave them a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you're listening. Please share this episode with others who may be interested in our community.
Also, feel free to let DC and BK know which business or community leaders you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch in the comments or on social media. See you next time for a new episode. And remember, always be cool.
This podcast is powered by Summit Lending, NMLS number 1850081, Equal Housing Lender.